Yeah, I know, I'm a hypocrite. I get it. I got tons of videos out there with millions of views where I'm talking about 10 things that a woman notices on a man, 7 things that a woman finds attractive on a guy. So who am I then to tell you not to try to impress women? Gents, here's the truth. I titled those videos to attract attention because that's what guys are typing into the search engines. That's what guys are searching for. But the reality, gents, is that this channel is a lot more than just tips and tricks about how to attract women, a lot more than just stylish suits. This channel is about helping you become the man you know yourself to be. Gents, so many of you guys are struggling with self-confidence and it's holding you back from reaching your potential. You're intimidated by women. You're intimidated by that beautiful girl that you've been wanting to speak to for months. Why? Because you feel she has the power to reject you. So how do I know this? Guys, because I've been there. I've been rejected. Throughout high school, never had a girlfriend, didn't even have the balls to actually ask out the girl that I was in love with for years. And I say in love with, the thing is, it was an imaginary relationship. I never really told her anything. And I was so disappointed when I didn't take her to prom and somebody else came in and scooped her up. In college, again, didn't have the cojones to actually talk to women unless I had 5 shots of wild turkey. So I'm depending on alcohol. I'm just depending. Yeah, I just didn't ever, I was intimidated. I was scared. I didn't want to be rejected, so I decided I'm not even going to play the game. Guys, it took me the better part of a decade to figure this out, but there is another way. The secret? Stop focusing in on other people. Stop trying to change other people. Stop trying to manipulate other people, and instead focus in on yourself. Focus on becoming the best man that you can be. Thanks, Uncle Barry, for the general advice, but can you give me some specifics? Well, yes, I can. So the first story I want to share with you is the best job I ever had in college, which was building communication towers. If you're not familiar with what they are, they're the 200, 300, 1,000 foot cell towers that you see around, basically allowing communication around the globe. These towers have to be built by somebody. I was one of those guys. We would show up and we would build a tower in a matter of days. Other times we were changing out light bulbs, painting them. The point is, this was hard, challenging work, and it scared me. And that's the key. You want to do hard work that really challenges you. It doesn't have to really scare you like climbing a tower. But I know for me, that really taught me what my boundaries were, that what I'm capable of. I never would have thought I could do this work. In fact, I did it because it just paid so well and I needed the money. But I also had friends that were doing this work and they egged me on. They said, hey, you can do this. I believe in you. And I was able to do it. I thought I was scared of heights. I never thought I could get up on a tower, 25 feet, let alone 250 feet, just climbing up there. I was actually a pretty fast climber. I was skilled at it. I was good about it. Now, I did have to compartmentalize and I had to learn to ignore things. But I learned, hey, I can do this. I can accomplish this. And I put in a good, hard day's work, and it was a great way to develop confidence. The second lesson to develop yourself, keep them guessing. Choose the path that is going to actually have the obstacle, the path that is going to be difficult, the challenging path, which will shape you. So many people, they're predictable. You know why? They're going to go down the easy path. They're like water. They just want to flow down the path of least resistance. And that was me going through college. In high school, decided I wanted to be a doctor. I don't know why. I was going to help people. Oh, and they made money. So my junior year, I knew my sophomore year, but I kept going down this path. And then I made a decision. You know what? I am not going to do this. Now, what am I going to do after college? And I disappointed my family. I disappointed a lot of people. I wasted a year of school. I had to actually go back and take summer courses. But how am I going to make this up? What am I going to do? Am I going to do something easy? No, I decided to do something to join the United States Marine Corps. And I didn't do it because I was in love with the Marine Corps. I thought, you know what? This is going to be tough. This is going to be very difficult. My brother was a Marine. My dad had been in the Army, cousins in the Air Force. It's something my family had served, but everyone had served enlisted, and I knew that OCS was going to be tough. Now, I was scared whether or not I was going to make it. Here's the thing, is I took that path that was very frightening, and I knew that, okay, even if I failed, I would know what I'm made of. And that is the thing. You've got to challenge yourself. Nobody else can truly challenge you like you can challenge yourself. Like you can push yourself to the limit. You find out what your limit is when you can't bust through it. And then you work to actually raise that bar, to raise that limit. And I learned a lot about myself at OCS. In many ways, that shaped me because I had a couple staff sergeants that rode I barely got through. I'm not going to say I was an amazing officer my first couple years because I didn't always have the right attitude, but it was going through and surrounding myself with these amazing enlisted men, these amazing other officers that forced me to level up my game consistently. And by the time I left the Marine Corps, I was a totally different person. And that's what I sought out. I surrounded myself with amazing people by seeking out challenge. Because when you seek out challenge, you surround yourself with other people who seek challenge, who seek obstacles. And all of a sudden, just by default, you are leveled up. Lesson number 3, do less, but do it better. So when I started my first company, a tailored suit, which ended up going into bankruptcy, I tried to do everything. I tried to be all things to all people. But what I found is that when I was putting out information at this other website, Real Men, Real Style, and a YouTube channel, Real Men, Real Style, is that people liked me because I would go deep in on suits. I would go deep in on tuxedos, formal wear. I would just talk about shoes like nobody else was talking on the web at that time about this. I realized it's because I studied and I was all self-taught. I read tons of these books. I wrote tons of articles. I called up tailors. I talked to cobblers, and I was able to go deeper, and I was able to do deep work. And that, gentlemen, is what's going to get you paid. That, gentlemen, is what's going to separate you at your company, is what's going to keep you employed. When you become a linchpin, when you can go deeper, when you are the expert and it's valuable to the company and you serve, the more people you serve, the more specialized and hard it is to replace you. I can tell you the more money you're going to make, because something that's valuable, something that is very difficult to replace, and something that serves tons of people and brings them value, if you can find that trifecta right there, you are going to be in demand. And gentlemen, that's what you want to get to understand, is what's truly valuable. Serve people and go deep. Don't be shallow. Go deep, do less, and do it better. Next up, gents, become self-reliant. This right here is going to separate you from so many people. When you know how to cook your own food, you know how to sew, but also other things. You don't depend on other people for money because you've got very simple tastes. So at my wedding, my wife's mother gifted me and my wife $1,200. That may not sound like a lot of money, but to a woman in Ukraine that's making $400 a month, that was 3 months of her salary. And that was a big gift. I'll never forget that. And she's got that paid back to her many times over because we definitely help her out now. And it's something that I don't know what your financial position is. I know for a lot of you guys, it's very difficult right now, but you still can develop a habit of saving. You can develop a habit. Maybe it's not saving money, but it's saving food, not wasting things. So many people out there, they've got these crazy, they think that they're high taste, but they're actually wasteful tastes. There are people out there that are driving vehicles they don't need. They're making payments on 3 cars. Yeah, you got 3 people in your house. Do you need 3 cars? Do you need that huge house? This is a wake-up call for so many people, I think, over the next few years to downsize, to find ways to cut and to save. And I know for me, one of the best things that happened is going through a bankruptcy, going through huge loss, and realizing, you know what? I don't need fancy food. I don't need a fancy car. I don't need a fancy house. I've got my family. We have our health. And really, more, I mean, we've got basic shelter. And I think when you can go through that, and all of a sudden, you find that these things don't impress you. You're able to live not only a happier life, but you're able to give yourself runway for when you are having good times again. You're able to pay everything off. You're able to start paying things in cash. You're able to actually see things for what they are and realize, yeah, there's very few instances that I want to go into debt, especially on credit cards that have 20% interest. The point here, guys, is when you're not dependent on other people, you develop a deep self-confidence of who you are and what you're capable of doing. Now, this next point, really important because so many guys don't do this. And to be honest, it is the source of their lack of confidence. And that is they don't value themselves. Deep down, they don't feel that they're worthy. Deep down, they don't feel that they're good enough. That's why she has the power that you feel she can reject you. But when you realize, I am valuable, I am somebody worth actually other people wanting. I'm a good person. I'm somebody, yeah, maybe that she's not the right one for me. And if she rejects me, her loss. But here's the thing. When you start to value and you love yourself, and I'm not, yeah, the whole self-love stuff, I'm not in the new age stuff, but I am into a man actually knowing who he is and realizing that we all have a purpose, that we all have this gift of life. And when you realize this, all of a sudden you see the light within yourself and you see it within others. And you realize she can't reject me. No one has the power to make you feel less or little. And she just, yeah, it just wouldn't have worked out. And you go on. And that is the power, gentlemen. That's when you switch, you turn the tables on everybody because you realize It's you are happy with who you are and you realize that you are a person who has a valuable life and life is always worth living. All right, gents, I know you've got an opinion, so I want to hear from you down in the comments. What did I miss? What would you have added to this video to make it better? And what video to watch next? How about the style rules that every man needs to know once and for all?